From AM 1680, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and it's time for Business Leaders Live right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. If you want to listen to any of the past episodes of Business Leaders Live, and in studio, Jordan Gustafson Sanchez, and I had Floyd Sanchez, your husband, on the show. So if you want to go back and listen to Floyd's interview even after this interview with Jordan, but I'm sure after this interview, you're not going to want to hear Floyd. No. Floyd's a great guy and very creative guy. Mm-hmm. And Floyd is one of our past interviews. And you can see almost over 2 years of interviews by going to lancecardoza.com. That's LanceCardoza. I was trying to figure out, how do we label my guest today as a name? And I was asking David. I said, I know she's married to Floyd Sanchez, but she's a Gus. I have such a hard time with your last name.
Gustafson.
There you go.
Yes,
Jordan. But what is her name? Because I know her as Jordan,
mm-hmm.
and Jordan around town, especially downtown. If you mention the name Jordan, it's almost like Michael Jordan, because you are a champion of downtown Fresno and Fresno in general, and you have a passion and a love for Fresno, and you're one of those, what I call the number one export of Fresno, that so many times our educated youth, our creative youth, end up leaving Fresno to go find a better life or something that they want to experience. They go to the cities, San Francisco, New York, LA, guilty in New York, and we've all done it, and they become boomerangs and they come back. A great place to raise a family. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting that culture that we've always wanted. Mm-hmm. It's happening, and it's happening downtown Fresno where those big cities have it. And Jordan, I know you're a big champion of Fresno. And just before we started, you mentioned one of your first jobs was G-Force, I believe, at the Grizzlies.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I started there as an intern in the marketing department. And then, I've worked every possible position. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like on the field with doing the G-Force before it was even called G-Force.
Yeah.
Suite service. I was in the suites, catering, and doing the work up there.
You did that too.
I was a lifeguard at the pool.
Oh, that's the fun job. That's
that was
cool.
the best job out of all of them. You sat there and watched the kids, and it included food. So
and you get to watch baseball.
Yeah. In center field. It was amazing.
Awesome. So in working all those positions too, you seem to be that type of person that you're not complacent with just the same old thing.
No.
Yeah, you need to be creative and be doing more and more and more.
Yes.
It seems that way.
I'm involved in many, many things.
So where did you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, in Clovis, out in the country, Sean McCall area. So grew up out there, went to Clovis High, and then Fresno State. And that's when I started my career with the Grizzlies, interning while I was still in school. Born and raised here.
Awesome. And then where did it lead you at some point? You went to work for the Yankees.
Yes.
And did you go right from Grizzlies and go to New York?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Having the Grizzlies on my resume really got me in as an interview there. I was actually interviewing with ESPN in Bristol and the Yankees in the Bronx at the same time, and got the job with the Yankees and moved. And
immediately.
Went out there. Yeah.
Awesome. What did you do for the Yankees when you were there?
So I was a part of their first inside sales class. So previously at the old stadium, they would say tickets are on sale and they would sell out. Yeah. And then when they moved over to the new stadium, they built a lot of suite seating, really developed the stadium for the business class baseball fan, as opposed to the super fan that the old stadium catered to. And that prices of seats, tripled in some cases, quadrupled in other cases, and a lot of season ticket holders left. And so they had to bring in an inside sales class, and be able to sell those seats. And so it was a very challenging job.
Yeah.
My first lead list that you get in sales was all past season ticket holders that had been told, you've had the seat for 50 years, and now it's, instead of $300, a game, it's $3,000 a game. And
to remind you, this is in New York.
Yes.
So it's like
yes,
every phone call was probably a lecture.
Oh yeah. I got educated really quickly on all of every cuss word that there is in the book. Okay. Like,
You learned them all.
all of them. And it was just, blindsided. So like my first, probably 100 calls, you'd get off the phone and you'd be like, breathe, like you're okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
And then pick up the phone again and keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. And it teaches you, I love that. And I think I sold advertising in a newspaper. And every time we had an angry customer or we had a tough customer, they would say, sick Cardoza on them, like I was their dog at the newspaper. Like, why me? But I loved it. It was a challenge because I felt they're probably a hard customer because they're not being taken care of properly. That's probably number one.
And there was nothing to say other than you're right. You're right. And what can we do, to make it up? And how can I resolve this, for you? And so I did that. And there was 10 of us in the class, and with the intention of a 6-month program to keep one of us as a full-time employee onto the sales team. And I was selected for that. And so stayed on with the team in a full sales role, which you work, all 81 home games and 9 to 5 normal days. And so it was like the month of May and I didn't have a single day off, because of all the weekend games. And it was a lot.
You live it. Yeah.
Yes. And I was living in the East Village and traveling to the Bronx, which is just on the train or a taxi. It's like 45 minutes to an hour every day, both ways. And
as a young girl in New York from Clovis.
22.
A country girl. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So it's you're being paid to go to school, basically.
Yeah. It was an education.
Awesome education.
Oh, they brought in the best sales trainers, in the country and, taught us all that. It was completely helped and started my career. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Awesome. So where does it take you from New York and where do you go after working for the Yankees?
Yeah. Well, the tech boom, really was starting and going on. And so, all the tech companies, when they hit a city, they come in and try to swoop the top talent and offer you double the pay. And I said yes.
Yeah. And tech, you learned through, that was when you went to school before Grizzlies?
I had no experience in technology, just sales experience. That's what they were really looking for, salespeople. So I went to a couple of companies. I started at Living Social when the Daily Deal, Groupon kind of market was just hitting. Yeah. And then I actually went to a dating website called How About We. And you would, to get a date, you would say, how about we, and propose some sort of date, go on a picnic or whatever. And people could say, I'm interested in that. So
this was for like early social.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That was right in the beginning. They were acquired by IAC, which is Match and Tinder and OkCupid. And so went through an acquisition there too. And they ended up not keeping staff during the acquisition and went to another company that's called Manicube, and they did in-office manicures and massages and like all of these, through a technology portal and being able to book your appointments online, but offering, I'd seek out HRs and talk to them about bringing these kind of extreme benefits. And now it was like targeting tech companies, that are having these kind of fun benefits.
We need to have that over at Bitwise.
Yeah, I know, right? We have
like
massages.
I know we do massages, but I like the app with the whole manicure.
It was haircuts, manicures, all of it. Yeah.
Everything right in-house.
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
And they went through an acquisition too with Estee Lauder, and I stayed during that acquisition and went and opened the San Francisco office for them. So that got me back to the West Coast.
Yeah, closer to home.
Yes. And so I went to high school with Jake Soberall. And
Jake Soberall, to remind people, Jake and Irma, co-CEOs of Bitwise Industries.
Yeah.
So you meet Jake there at school.
Yeah. So I'd known him since junior high and high school. We all
he went to school, same school.
Yeah.
High school. Okay.
Yep. Clark, and then Clovis High, and his wife Sarah played basketball together, and so very good friends with them.
Very cool.
And I'd kept up, while I was in New York and touch base, and was so proud of what he was doing in downtown. And I think when I got to San Francisco, it was like, okay, cool, we've got you 3,000 miles closer, and. Would you be interested in sales at Bitwise? And definitely, it was, I came and did a tour of what he was doing in downtown and immediately fell in love. And Irma came and saw me in San Francisco, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, they're excellent salespeople.
Oh, yeah. And passionate. I think anybody who's never had the chance to meet Jake and Irma, and I've had them both on the show at the same time, which, as you know, is rare.
Yes.
It was fun because I got to fight a little bit.
Yes, yes.
But they love each other like a brother and sister. And the cohesiveness of what they do with Bitwise and bringing on incredible talent, especially boomerang talent, and bringing them back like they did with you is awesome. They're great people, and they're the CEOs there at Bitwise Industries. We're going to take a short break.
Sounds good.
We'll be back. Let's talk about the rest of your career. You come back to Fresno, so you're one of those statistics. You were the boomerang, and came back in and and joined up with Bitwise. And we'll talk a little more about what Bitwise is. A lot of people still are, what is Bitwise? And that's the fun thing about Bitwise. But at the same time, we'll talk about your company Order Slip.
Yes.
And
Looking
what you're
forward
doing
to
with
it.
Order Slip, it's pretty exciting. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live. I'm here with Jordan.
Yes.
And we're going to, it's like Madonna. We're just going to give you Jordan now.
Perfect.
Perfect. We'll be
Thank
right
you.
back with more Business Leaders Live. Don't go away. I'm not going, we're still Facebook Live. Just a reminder. I'm not, what's that?
I think that was brought to you.
Oh, you did? It was brought to me?
I don't know. That was from.
Oh, if you're watching on Facebook, thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank's the car driver.
Wow.
Frank drives the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you met Frank.
Yeah. I was like, is this Frank?
I texted him. I didn't mean to bring it here. Just put it in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get it in the car after.
Thanks, Frank. Nice.
Got a plug.
All right. Did I go out too soon?
No.
Okay, I was perfect. Okay, so I was watching and sort of count of the corner of my eye. Okay, cool. When we come back, we'll touch on Bitwise, you coming back, and then from there we can go into Order Slip. And,
Perfect.
And then as we trail the next 3 segments, we'll get everything in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So much.
Fun stuff. So went to New York. That's awesome.
I was out there for like 8 years. It was great.
That is so cool. I love New York. I'd like to go out there at least once a year, just to like walk. Yeah, I'll go in New Jersey, take the train in to Penn Station, and to just walk.
Yep.
And I'll put 20 miles on.
Oh,
At
easily.
the end of the day, it feels like I walk 3 blocks here and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But I'll go to New York and just walk and walk. There's so much to see.
You're just taking it all in, and you don't really.
Yeah.
I would be like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna walk a couple blocks. I'll get the subway at the next one,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I'd be like halfway home, like 30 blocks later, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm walking home.
Yeah, just
Whatever.
walk.
Yeah.
Everybody else is.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know what? I was amazed. One of the first times I was in New York, it was raining. And if anybody's been in New York, you know this, with the umbrellas. And you've got thousands of umbrellas, and people are passing in the crosswalks, and nobody collides with an umbrella.
I know, it's crazy. You're doing like the,
Yeah.
like
How?
yeah, fast.
Oh, it's like a game of Tetris or something.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
watching it. Yeah. And I was like, you could tell these people walk
They've done it.
with each
Been
other
doing
in
it
umbrellas
every
all
day.
the time.
Yeah.
Every day. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it.
The whole- yeah.
And so I thought I was pretty amused by that.
When I first got there, you'd be like, oh, excuse me, when you're bumping into
Yeah.
people, and you're trying to be conscious, and then probably
No,
took a
yeah.
month.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to Business Leaders Live. If you catch us at Facebook at Talk Radio 1680 KGED, I'm here with Jordan, and we're talking about her career of leaving the area and coming back. But you get some of the behind the scenes when we were talking about living in New York and
Yes.
how fun and exciting it is. But you get some of the behind the scenes by joining us at Facebook at Talk Radio 1680 KGED. So you start off as an intern in marketing, and you work all the positions at the Grizzlies. You find yourself in inside sales out in New York. And at that point, when you went to New York, was that the first time getting into sales, really strong into sales?
Yes, very much so. I had done actually Derek Franks was the inside sales manager at the Grizzlies. So my second season there.
Now the president
Yes,
of the Grizzlies,
exactly.
part owner of the
Yes.
Grizzlies. Yes.
So he was my boss my second season there. So he actually started my inside sales career and experience.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, he was wonderful. He
Yeah,
was
he's
great to
great.
work
Yeah,
for,
he-
obviously,
yes.
and
Good
his
people
success
person.
he has there. But yeah, like I said, they brought in insane trainers, top in the industry, and they have Legends Management at the Yankees, which is a part of the Cowboys and the Cavaliers, and a big conglomerate there.
Yeah.
So
Awesome stuff. So you come back, you find your way closer to home, working for a tech company in San Francisco.
yeah,
And then an old friend of yours, Jake Soberall, says, I want to tell you about what we're doing in Fresno.
yes,
And you were hearing news about what was happening with Bitwise and Bitwise Industries, then Bitwise South Stadium, then the Hive, and now the 41 building and everything else that's coming online. recently the Fresno Bee
Yeah.
moved into the 41 building.
Oh, it's an amazing office too. Like
I
my
saw
favorite
some pictures
office
of it.
in all of our buildings. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Very cool. So it's that's a strip of gears from old school Fresno Bee to this new hip modern. You want to come to work. And I think that's what I find with Bitwise. It's almost Google-esque.
Yes.
That they've created an environment that makes it fun to go to work and collaborate with others.
There's scooters now.
People.
Have you seen the scooters
I've seen
going
the
around?
scooters. Yeah, scooters in the lobby.
Yeah.
And there's always something cool and different. So really, they're a property management company, but has provided this sense of social activity with business. And I don't know how you would describe it. You sell it, so you know it better than anybody.
Oh, it's an amazing company to work for. From the people to the benefits, it's incredible. But yes, there's the business aspect with the buildings. So, property management and tenant spaces to rent. We have the school on site. So teaching, very affordable prices.
And that's Geekwise Academy.
Geekwise Academy, correct. It's amazing. We have Geekwise, and then we have Shift 3 Technologies, which we build technology and software, hiring a lot of the students that are coming out of Geekwise. My role, I'm at OrderSlip, which is another sector of our business, which is the research and development. So as we're building software, we're now looking into, is this software something that we can turn into a product? Now we have the expertise in building a particular type of software. Can this become a product? And then we're looking into the viability of that product in the market. And OrderSlip was the first company to come out of the research and development portion of Shift 3 Technologies. And so we build apps for restaurants. And with that, we went out and found, would restaurants be interested in having their own app? So that means, if you go to the App Store, you're able to download Kiku is a restaurant in downtown that we built their app for. And so it's a white label app, which means you don't ever see OrderSlip branding on it. You go to it and it looks completely run by the restaurant.
All the back end system is ran by OrderSlip.
Correct.
With your business, your restaurant on it. Yeah.
Yes. And so I came into Shift 3 and I was selling technology, and it's such a vast sphere of what you can sell, anywhere from integration software of connecting systems to, I loved it in the beginning too, because I felt like I was on Shark Tank. People would come in with their app idea and want to talk about it. And we got to, at some points, poke holes and make sure that they had thought about all the right things. But at the heart of Bitwise and Shift 3, it's really about empowering and helping businesses. There was never we're trying to take your money, or if there was not viability in a product idea, we would help kind of bring that to a surface where it would be, and starting with, we do what's called a minimal viable product, which is your MVP. And so really trying to help people focus on what features they could include and pay for up front that are going to help them make money to add more features to it later.
So it sounds like with Shift 3 that you didn't just pay somebody to develop an app for you or pay somebody to help you with some technology to get what you needed to do, but you got a team of people
You did.
to help really,
And consultants and industry experts and people that have worked in technology for years and years and years, coming in and providing that expertise.
incredible. So from there you branch off into OrderSlip, and that becomes a full-time role. Not a full-time, you got many things going.
Yeah, it is.
If you call your full-time role, it's with OrderSlip.
Yeah.
And so OrderSlip now is, how long has it been going? And you probably see when you go downtown, and let's say you're heading to the South Valley and you're on Highway 41, you see the big colorful building called Hive. And a lot of people are wondering, what's in Hive? It's, it's intriguing to some people.
Yeah, so pretty.
I get questions all the time, and you see OrderSlip on there. That's where your office is.
Yeah.
Inside that building there. And so what, how long has it been, and where is it going? What's happening in the future now with OrderSlip?
Yeah, so I started probably 3 years ago. I started selling OrderSlip, and that was it. We were just going out and testing the market. Would restaurants buy this, And that was it with the pricing too. We're trying all these different models, and there really wasn't competitors in the space at the time too. So we were developing, it's called software as a service. So a SaaS product, which means that, people pay to set up the app, a flat fee for that, and then they pay a monthly fee to keep the app going. So for all the restaurant owners out there listening, it's $1,000 to set up an app, and that gets it completely customized to their branding. And then it's just $100 a month per location to keep it going. And that includes, all of the upgrades that Apple does when it says, update the software on your phone. Apps need to be updated then. So we do all of the back end on that and customer support management, loyalty program. So really have been, working with restaurants for over 3 years now with OrderSlip. Once we started getting, the clients and the restaurants on board, then we actually hired a cohort, which was GeekWise students that had been learning how to build apps and brought them on in a paid internship position to learn how to build apps for restaurants. So we started the company with a cohort of GeekWise students, and now many of them are our full-time employee developers and have completely excelled and have made the product so beautiful and have so many great functionality. So really kind of producing, with the Bitwise ethos in OrderSlip and creating jobs and training, tech talent here locally and hiring. I mean, my team's comprised of people that had, former positions as a pastor and people that had completely studied something different at Fresno State, and now have this pathway in technology.
Incredible. And the GeekWise Academy in the basement of Bitwise South Stadium, they're building there that's on Van Ness. It's great because you see young kids all the way up through people that just trying to, like I say, was a pastor and trying to figure out, I want to work in this space, but I don't know where to start. And I notice also to Fresno State, also Pacific University. I don't know who else. I know there's many institutions in high schools that are coming to GeekWise Academy because it's the latest and greatest technology being taught right out of that GeekWise Academy. And I love it that it's almost the minor leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting plucked out of there and going to the majors. You're going to OrderSlip. You're going to these different companies that have a need.
And we have excellent counselors that are, work in job placement. And if you're not finding a career within Shift 3 and Bitwise, there's several tech companies that, make sense for you to go work with locally too.
It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. So OrderSlip, I wanted to ask a quick question too. So if like Kiki's downtown, which is a great restaurant, Sylvia and her husband, they do an amazing job.
I know. Just thinking about their chicken.
Peanut sauce. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, I love it. So but they have an app so where people can go and order right on your app. And that's what the application is for your restaurant, loyalty program and everything else. So, and it sounds pretty affordable too for a restaurant to get in and do that. So I encourage people, if you're listening to this show, and we'll put this information, we'll put it on our website at lancecardoza.com for you, but they can go and find out more information about OrderSlip. What's the first thing they do? Let's say somebody is a restaurant listening right now, or they're listening to this on Facebook. What do they do first?
Go to orderslip.com, and it's ORDRSLIP.com, and we have information in an intake form right there. So they fill out the form on our website. It's going to go right to my inbox. It's easier than the email address.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about your passion with downtown Fresno. Not only with Bitwise and everything you do, I also know downtown you have many Airbnbs.
Yes.
So people go into Yosemite and come in and travel to our area. You have many Airbnbs, and we'll get to that. But the Downtown Fresno Foundation. And you're the chairperson of Yes Fest, right?
The chairperson of the foundation.
Of the foundation. It's or you want to talk about some of the things?
Yes, that's what's coming up
looking
next.
at my notes.
Yes.
David is real thorough, but I thought, I was like, wait a minute, you're the chairman of Yes? You're way cool.
I wish. That's not me. The Tioga and Mike Oz and
all them. I was like, how'd you get that? That's like the Grand Marshal of it?
No, that's Mike Oz. That's
Mike Oz. He's
right?
the Grand Marshal, yes. So with the foundation, tell me about that in downtown.
Yeah, absolutely. So when Jake recruited me for downtown, he's like, and now you're here to live in downtown and work in downtown and do the whole thing. And I was like, absolutely, coming from New York. And so I immediately moved in. I've got like the first loft in the Pacific Southwest building and then had the opportunity to join the Downtown Foundation. And I started with that about 3 years ago now. And am now the chair, and we do things like the facade improvement program, the Create Here program, several events in downtown, including Yes, which is coming up. We're supporting the organizers of that, and it'll be a big block party down Fulton, and that'll be next Saturday on the 21st.
On the 21st, it's a big one, and that Yes Fest. It's fun to watch what Mike Oz has created. And is off of a social aspect. Worked with Fresno Bee. And I love Mike Oz's story that it was a guy who had a passion for social and gathering people and creating a sense of just our own cool, create and celebrate taco trucks. I remind him all the time. She was a little bitty skinny reporter from the Fresno Bee and him. They went out and tried to find the best tacos in the valley, and they did a little video. And that's sort of the birth of Taco Truck Throwdown.
I mean, he's your guy. If you want to talk about tacos. Yeah. Him and Sam Hansen.
Oh, yeah. And created this very cool environment. And so it's it's real amazing what they're doing and supporting them in downtown and their efforts. There's many people that have really done that, and you're one of them. Jake didn't just tell you were going to be downtown. You were passionate about it.
Yes,
you
definitely.
were all in. You were all in. So the foundation has got events like that they support. What else is happening in downtown Fresno with the foundation?
Yeah, so I mean, even over the past 3 years that I've been, actually 4 years now in downtown, and there's been a vast difference, of what's going on. Even on an art hop, especially you can see. I remember, it was still kind of mellow when I first got here, and now it's insane. They can't find any place that's empty on an art hop night. Fulton's just booming. Other things that we're doing with the foundation, though, like I said, Create Here is our business plan competition that we'll do in Q3, so later on in summer. Also, the facade improvement program is been buying signage and helping with awnings and improvements to the exteriors of businesses within the PBID in downtown, and just a lot of work that we're putting in with the events and trying to make sure there's actually a program called the Downtown Fresno Boosters that's going to be starting. So we could talk about that a little bit more.
Fun stuff. We're going to take a short break, sitting here with Jordan Gustafson Sanchez.
Yeah.
And with the order slip and everything else, downtown Fresno. We'll be right back right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Cool. Still on Facebook Live.
Great.
Get a little behind the scenes.
Yeah.
David's going to come in and tell us something prolific. Anything major, David? No, we're all good. So with foundation, and then I think also you had on there too, Lowell Community Development.
Yes, Lowell. I do want to talk about the boosters. I just remembered.
Yeah, talking about boosters.
But I got Sarah Moffett sent me a whole email of all of her info, so I'm going to look that up. She's the boss.
She is on top of it. Mm-hmm. She is on top of it.
It's actually a program that's going to be launching, I think, on Friday. So it'll be a paid membership to be a booster, but it includes like all of this VIP access to all of like downtown events.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I want to make sure I have the pricing right before we talk about it.
The law that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
is that the one that's featured on that downtown Fresno? Is that what it's called? Eric, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always seen that on Instagram or.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
that's our law.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite side.
Yeah. I get the overlooking the Grizzly Stadium
Yeah.
view.
Savak said, they want to know, do you want to see the stadium? You work at the stadium? No, I don't want to see the stadium.
I did. That was
She
it.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
immediately.
That was
Well,
when
the
you
other
started.
side too has the sunset, or I'm sorry, the sunrise, and I was like, no sunrise.
See, I love that.
Oh no,
So I
I'm the
can pop
opposite.
up in the morning, and then
No.
I love the sunset. All that stuff's great.
I was like, I will take the sunset side. With
Yeah.
watching the Grizzly games. Like
Yeah.
sunrise, too much light.
Yeah. The other part is 4th of July. You can see all the fireworks.
Oh no, every Friday night during season.
Friday night, yeah.
I get Friday night fireworks.
Fireworks,
Yeah.
yes. You get really fireworks, big time, yeah.
They that's what a plug I put in there, on my Airbnb page.
Yeah.
If you're here on a Friday night during Grizzly season,
Season.
come home between
Yeah.
9:30 and 10 because
Go to the game.
Yeah.
Go to the game and then come back over
and watch.
watch fireworks. Love it. Did she give you the details?
Yep, here it is.
Okay, cool. Is she listening right now? Facebook Live? Sarah she's at baseball, right? She's at spring training, or was.
Yeah, I think she might be back by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. She's like, so
I went
jealous.
to Cubs and Reds at the Las Vegas ballpark. Yes, Sunday. Oh, that ballpark is so beautiful. We've got a beautiful crown jewel, Fresno, but that brand new ballpark there, it is amazing. We're doing, because I work concert promotions and stuff, talent buying, and we're doing some future concerts there in a brand new ballpark, and it's amazing. Just in Summerlin and shopping around the ballpark.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody. You catch a little bit of the discussion behind the scenes by going to Facebook at Talk Radio 1680 KGED, and make sure you like the page and be able to see us streaming on Facebook. Jordan, we were talking about before we left, and you were getting the orders from our fearless leader.
Yes.
Sarah Moffat. She is a fearless leader.
She's amazing.
She is. And Sarah just drives.
She's a champion for downtown too. Yes. I mean, she recruited me for the Downtown Fresno Foundation and like several other things, Sister Cities International. I mean, like all the things I'm involved in started with Sarah.
As you know, and because you had a baby, and then you showed up just was a week after having a baby at 40 Under 40 when you were honored at the 40 Under 40, and Sarah has been a champion for 40 Under 40 and celebrating young minds and business leaders, and she's great. And I always say she's sort of like if 40 Under 40 was Disneyland, she's the Mickey Mouse.
Yes, definitely.
Not to be Mickey Mouse, but she is. She's the head mascot, and she champions it all the time, and finds these diamonds in the rough. You know, people that are unsung heroes and just are coming up, and she always points out some really good people for that. Gets excited every year about it. So she missed last year, so we're not going to hold that against her. But she was out of town, but Sarah's great. But you have a program that's coming up.
Yes, and developed with Sarah and the rest of the board members on the foundation. So it's the Downtown Fresno Boosters, and it's going to be basically for people that are downtown enthusiasts. People that have gone through the Downtown Academy, another big program that we do at the foundation, and flip members, and just downtown enthusiasts in general. It'll be granting access to a lot of our events that we're doing, but in a VIP capacity. And so really getting to support downtown and find out about all the events that are happening ahead of time, and be granted discounts. And like I said, some VIP access. For Downtown Academy members, it's $25. For flip members, it's $35. And for downtown enthusiasts, it's $50.
Nice.
For your membership. Yeah.
And then is that found online? Any information what they can find out about
Yes.
that?
And so downtownfresno.org, we'll have the information coming up, and I anticipate some bigger announcements about it on the Facebook as well, which is Downtown Fresno, and the Instagram handle Downtown Fresno.
Beautiful. Good stuff. You're very involved, like I say, with the heart of our city. And I've always said, I mean, we have more and more activity, and you said you're seeing it too. I call it the Renaissance. We're coming through that, and there's big things happening. But I feel the city does owe a lot of homage to what Bitwise is doing, and their creativity and their willingness to take a chance. And they're taking a chance on other cities too, and they're doing it. And they're more not taking a chance anymore. It's an educated move.
Correct,
based on what they've built and created in downtown Fresno. And now they're going to put it in other cities across the United States, and now going to Merced and Bakersfield, and more exciting news coming with what Bitwise is doing. But those downtown cores of a city are very important. And I'm seeing it on the south end of Fulton. You see Tioga and the New Modernist, and which, any place I go that is where the cool people are. I walk in and Jordan is there. It's like, Jordan's here, so this is now the cool spot.
We've got great babysitters.
The places that I see you and Floyd and you guys pop around is like, this looks fun, and here's Jordan. So, yep, it is fun. This is the place to be. But I see it on the south end of Fulton, and now Art Hop, north end of Fulton. That's the hub of activity. And now just out in front of CVS, just recently last week, and it came out online about what the Titayan and Company is getting ready to build a development on that end of Fulton, to be able to tie the two ends. And then, as you know, when you do that, the rest of Fulton comes along. You had two companies that came from Hanford Chicken Shack, and also
doing wonderful
social or the sushi place. I can't remember the name. Dashiko. Both Hanford companies that came up. They believe in downtowns. They have a very successful little downtown in Hanford, and they came up and said, we're going to take risk.
Yeah, Chicken Shack's doing amazing in Mariposa Plaza. Yeah.
Killing it. And they're right there in the middle. So we're going to see more and more. And Savanka's doing what he's doing with the Pacific Southwest building.
And the Helm.
Yep, and the Helm building across the street. And
been working very hard on both.
Yeah, and they're moving along. So I'm seeing the synergy happening, and once that starts to happen, we're going to see a big difference in the heart of our city.
And you also have the TCC funding coming from Mariposa Plaza. So that's going to get a facelift right there too.
It's going to be beautiful. I'm loving it. So and not because you're involved with downtown, you're getting paid to do all this. This is something that you're passionate about. And you
These are
found
volunteer positions.
Yep. And you found a like-minded people that are all passionate about that and being able to build that. And that's my love for the stadium. When the Carberrys brought it and said, this is where we're planting the flag, we're putting it in downtown Fresno. They were the pioneers that came in, and they were the ones that weathered it, got through it, and the new ownership that's come in, and then now you see all this other participation happening that's going to turn it around. And a lot of developers that abandoned downtown Fresno now coming back and seeing, hey, wait a minute, what's going on down here? So we're seeing that happen. Loyal Community Corporation, tell me a little bit about that, and I know you're involved with that as well.
Yeah, so Floyd and I, my husband and I, bought a house in Lowell. So now we have a house right on Fulton, and very happy that we were able to do that. And with that, there's the Lowell Community Development Corporation, a CDC. And so Lowell is basically like the first neighborhood that came out of Fresno, right off the downtown hub, and a beautiful neighborhood in the sense that it had every walk of life, living side by side. You have the mansions, you have the small bungalows. So it has a number of historic homes and beautiful homes in that neighborhood. So I was very excited to get involved. It's very has a great heart for the community, and there's housing projects in the sense of education on home ownership. Lowell is actually over 90% renters within the neighborhood, and so a lot of people are living in houses that they're being, renting from owners that are perhaps absentee or, in the area, and developers are coming in and investors. So at the CDC, we're working on making a path for home ownership for the current residents of Lowell. So working with a few different foundations and funding sources right now. Nothing to announce just yet, but hopefully some major funding coming soon that will help us purchase homes in the neighborhood. Because right now you kind of have to be a cash buyer to get some of the houses in the neighborhood, because that's what the investors are buying. So we will be able to come in and purchase those homes, and then work with people that are renters in the community to then get a microloan or some sort of loan to purchase that house themselves, and educate them on the loan process and their credit score, and home ownership and house maintenance and all the bills that come with home ownership as well. So that's major projects we're doing. Also supporting.
It will totally transform that community.
Yes, and so those are the things we can do to fight gentrification in that area. Is making sure that we're empowering and helping to support the historic people that have lived in that neighborhood. Is that they have a path to stay there and have a ownership in the neighborhood as well.
This is what's awesome about you, Jordan, because a lot of times people, they get in a situation that maybe they're not totally pleased with, but that's not my problem. And that's the problem with politics today. We leave it to the politicians. It's not our problem. They've got to deal with it. But we control that. We control our destiny, our surrounding, and we can transform and bring people together that are like-minded to do great things.
Yeah.
And you're one of those people. I think you see the forest through the trees, and you tend to bring the right people together and believe in a common cause. And sometimes they don't all work, but at the same time, if you don't try and you don't do something, no one's going to do it.
Well, yeah, and
you've got to get it done.
And Lowell CDC has been doing it, for quite some time now. They've been doing wonderful things. They've partnered with the Fresno Housing Authority, and have built complexes there for the residents and offered classes. And so I joined that board this year. So I'm very new to it and doing the best I can to help support. But they have had the heart for that neighborhood for quite some time, and wonderful organizers that work with that organization.
And building an organization, but it takes an army of people. It takes people to help make it happen, and you're one of those people. And there's a lot of those people in our downtown. I'd love to celebrate. I could do a show just about downtown, because there is. This
is what the show is today.
There's so much. There's so much going on, and there's so much that needs to happen. And in a lot of time, I had a lot of respect for Jake, and I think when I had Jake on here with Irma, I mentioned this. We're at a city council meeting, and he was talking about Bitwise, the first move of Bitwise. And at that time, he was speaking a lot about downtown Fresno, but you really didn't hear Bitwise. And then when he got up and made his presentation, I vividly remember a lady saying, well, that's not going to get me to come downtown and why do you, I don't know if you were there. You probably, I think you came later.
I've heard.
Yeah. And I don't know what you're saying is not going to get me to come downtown and blah, 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 blah. And she grumbled, and he paused and said, and they said, ma'am, this is his time. He said, can I speak to that just real quick? Sure, if you want to. And he said, ma'am, we don't want you to come downtown. If you don't get it, you'll never get it. And until you get it, and I don't know exactly his words, you don't need to come downtown. We're talking to the people that get it. Mm-hmm. And it was so simply said that we're not trying to get people to come that don't want to be involved, but the people that get the big picture and get it, we're talking to them. Mm-hmm. We've now we built a sense of space and to come celebrate with us. And he nicely just calmed her down, and he went right back to, now let's get back to it and what it is.
And then, with that, the motto, at Bitwise is no one belongs here more than you.
Yeah.
And so there is that part of, if you get it, but everyone is welcome.
Everyone's welcome. Yeah. And I think it's a lot of times we tend to, people don't understand. So they tend to turn a blind eye to it, and then there's the ones that make a difference. So I love the people that make a difference and want to ask questions about it and get more involved with it. When we come back, I want to talk about your business and your loft, the beautiful loft looking over the ballpark. Chachansey Park, and why you chose that spot. It's where you started, right there at Chachansey Park. So I want to talk about that and talk about your Airbnb business and whatever else. We'll be right back with Jordan right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGD. They normally have a clock for me over here.
You're just getting these.
I'm getting this. At the corner of my eye, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, am I going in and out on time?
Yeah, I see the hand signal, and I'm like, is that the 2-minute warning, or is that the wrap it up?
And he moves
whatever I'm
quick.
saying, I'm like, and I'm going to wrap up the sentence.
When you hear the music, that's when send it out. So we've been good.
I caught that on the last one. But we'll talk about that more when we come back.
You have also, we didn't talk about Transform Fresno.
That's TCC.
That's TCC.
Yeah, we haven't quite covered that, but we have a community meeting.
I see that
on Wednesday.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about the Airbnb and.
Yeah.
You said that one house, so that's the house in Lowell that you have the rooms.
Yes, we have the house. We have 2 houses that are next door to each other. They were both built in 2008, so they're exact same floor plan. Both 5-bedroom, 2-bath houses, and we live in one, and then we have the other one on Airbnb.
Is that right across from where the old Bitwise was?
No, so it is across from Catholic Charities, directly across, but I won't say that because that's where I live.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, cool.
If you're on Facebook now, you know. Come wave. That's not going on the radio air.
Yeah, that is not the radio, yeah. And then Transform Fresno.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
With Transform Fresno or
just where you just
with
that area, yeah.
With Lowell, in September of last year. So what, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, somewhere in there. And then having both houses started 2 days ago.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you need to get that word out.
Yeah.
And there is a lot, and I tell people all the time with healthcare, there's a lot of traveling medical.
So much.
And there's not enough housing downtown. And that's why, what I see happening on the Fulton and stuff is opening doors to all these ideas of moving forward with some housing plans and also moving forward with, we need retail. We need places to go hang out. I see everybody coming down for Art Hop, and then I'm like, okay, but where are they going to go hang out right now? Don't leave. Don't go north.
Oh, yeah.
They do. They all disperse and run off.
We get, people have stayed overnight because the individual rooms went for like $30 to $50 a night. And they'll stay on Art Hop nights, or if there's something going on at Fulton 55 or at Warner's, especially when Warner's has big concerts, we get, fully booked for that. I actually had a GeekWise student come from Oakland wanting to study at GeekWise, couldn't wait until it expanded, closer to him. And he stayed for 6 weeks in my place to take classes at GeekWise. Nice. So we get everybody, especially the healthcare workers. They're amazing though.
Yeah, they're amazing. And they're here for a long time.
They're here, they're
big period.
And they have a stipend to pay for their housing, and so that works out there. And they're working long hours, so they're rarely at the house. They're super clean. They keep, they're perfect guests. I would take all healthcare workers
all the time.
Yeah, keep them coming.
they're down there 24/7 almost at work.
Yeah.
They just need a place to relax, sleep, and head back out.
And then we get a lot of people that are, driving through and want to just stop. We were planning on making it all the way to Santa Cruz tonight or San Francisco, but we need to stop. And so we have last minute bookings available till 11 p.m. And so every day, the rooms are cleaned midday and they're ready to go. And so we get last minute bookings all the time.
I'm going to refer some people to you. I'll tell you about it here. I'll
take them all.
on the air. Yeah, I'll refer somebody. And they happen to stay at the DoubleTree. And I don't want to take it away from DoubleTree.
But
because they love DoubleTree, but the loft is a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. We try to. Savak actually has a loft open now too.
Yeah, 10th his.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you move to the
so there's
other
two in the Pacific Southwest building, and our pricing's pretty.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back to Business Leaders Live. I'm sitting here with Jordan, and Jordan, we were talking about downtown. Yeah, everything going on downtown. I want to tell you a quick little story, and this is a little plug for downtown again.
Yeah.
Because you do have the Airbnbs downtown and many locations. So if anybody's traveling and coming to the area, going to see Yosemite, or they're working at the hospital, coming down for Art Hop, looking for a place to hang out and crash after, you have all these options. But recently, about a week and a half ago, Jeff, he's the bartender down at the DoubleTree. Great guy. If you want to find a great bartender, go down to the DoubleTree. Jeff's amazing, and this guy's a machine.
Oh,
and
okay.
You got to check him out, Jordan.
Yes,
you know a good bartender. Jeff is the best.
Okay.
So Jeff down there comes up to this lady, and there's a lady and husband, and he always picks out, like, you look like so and so celebrity.
Yeah,
that's a way to create discussion.
Yes.
And he comes up and goes, you look like Kim Basinger, and I get it all the time, and talks to this guy, hey, and you look like Dustin Hoffman, and, and they're joking and laughing, and he waits on him, and the lady, she tries a drink, and it's Full Circle's beer, Juicy.
Oh, I love Juicy.
Love Juicy.
Yeah.
And she tries Juicy. She doesn't drink beer, and I think it was his, and she sipped it, and she was like, wow.
Yummy.
And then all of a sudden, 1, 2, then he was getting for both. And Jeff goes, hey, you're drinking beer, so you like it? Because first she started with, I think, wine. Yes. And it was like, this is great. And at the end, she kept going on, where can I find this? And he was like, I know they're in LA. My buddy's helps him, is involved with them. Let me ask him. It's me.
Yeah.
And at the end, he shakes their hand, and she introduces herself. It's Kim Basinger.
It was her?
That's her.
You look like.
You look like. And he was like,
wow.
It's like, oh my gosh, my childhood.
So if you're hearing that, Arthur, Sarah, Derek, you need to send Kim Basinger.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. So last week, I took a case from Arthur, and I went to Kim's house.
Wow.
And her boyfriend's place, and brought him a case of Juicy, and they put it on social media. She posted the post.
Perfect. There
and
you go.
thanking Jeff and I for making it happen in Full Circle, and told her where they can buy it down in LA, and they're super excited about it. But she's animal rights activist, and she has a property that they come and visit all the time that has elephants on 3,000 square acres that are taken out of situations that need to have a better life. And they work on that, and she tirelessly works on that. But she loved her stay in Fresno, and I told her I had to get back tonight. I'm heading back right now, and we're going back to Art Hop. And she was like, wow, tell me about that. And we talked about Art Hop. I said, when you come back, I'm going to give you the Fresno VIP treatment.
Yes, that'll be the loft.
You come back, check out Fresno. So we'll be talking. We'll be talking. But she's a huge fan of Juicy, and I'm glad that
I'll have it stocked in the fridge. You
heard that, Kim. So if you're following me on Facebook and you're listening, Jordan's got you taken care of.
And
so,
my dad John's listening right now. So hi, Dad. But I'm going to get a text that he's going to say, "Where's this beer Juicy that you're talking about? How come I haven't had me?"
You got to hook up Dad with that.
Yeah, he gets a lot of Tioga beer, but I got to get him the Juicy.
Juicy is incredible. We've got a short amount of time, but I want to talk about Transform Fresno. There's a meeting coming up. And then, again, the Airbnbs, the loft, and the home, and the places to stay. And I encourage people, if you come down and go to Art Hop, also try out living downtown. Stay the night in one of your Airbnbs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the meeting with Transform Fresno.
Yeah. So we have the TCC funding and the projects that are going on. We have a few projects in downtown with going to connect Broadway through by Hotel Fresno, and then the Mariposa Plaza we discussed. But predominantly, a lot of the funds are going to hit Southwest Fresno, which has been historically disenfranchised and absolutely remarkable with the City College that's coming and urban greening products, a lot of projects to improve quality of life, health in the neighborhood with improving air quality in that neighborhood and projects in Chinatown as well. So we have quarterly community meetings with updates on that. I'm on the outreach and oversight committee for TCC representing downtown. And we will be meeting on Wednesday from, I believe,
6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30 at
on
the
the
West Side
11th,
Church of God. Yeah.
Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it is
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30. Open to anybody?
Open to the public, and
Open
we'll
to
be
the public.
updating on all the projects. So you'll be getting updates on where those stand and how those funds are being spent.
Beautiful. Good stuff. And then to hit on the Airbnb.
Yes.
And don't only do it on an art hop night. Come down and hang out downtown and check it out.
Oh, amazing.
And,
We have,
experience it.
let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 8 listings on Fulton. So you can walk down Fulton and enjoy, all Art Hop has to offer and enjoy the beers from all the breweries and not have to drive home.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time when you come down to Art Hop or any time.
Any night, yeah.
And I like to always come down and go, just to experience Art Hop, to go, this could be happening every night.
Yeah.
It's going to get there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're slowly turning that corner, and more people living downtown and experiencing downtown is what's making it happen. Let's talk about your loft that overlooks the ballpark.
Yes.
And that's your sort of crown jewel.
Yes, definitely.
The crown jewel. And that loft, tell me about it. It overlooks Chachansey Park.
It started as my bachelorette pad.
Okay,
I lived there. And it was right when one of the first it was the first loft to be occupied on the 13th floor. So I got it, just as Savak had finished remodeling his 13th floor and opening it up. And we kind of discussed earlier, but my view has the ballpark and the sunset. I was very opposed to the sunrise, where you like the sunrise on your side.
I love that little sunrise and that little sunset.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And so, and then I met Floyd, and, we got married and started a family, and the loft was a little too small for a family of 4. So started listing it on Airbnb and with Savak's permission. And Savak also has a loft available on Airbnb 2 floors below mine with a different view. And
Savak, the owner of the Pacific Southwest building, and some buildings there in the Fulton.
And his wife Gita manages it, and it's beautiful as well. So wonderful options in the Pacific Southwest building. I get, locals that want to stay, it's their anniversary or it's my wife's birthday, and they want to do a fun night out in downtown, and they'll stay at the loft. I get lots of Yosemite travelers. Weddings, especially when there's weddings in downtown, it becomes like their bridal suite for weddings. And lately, it's actually turned into a pretty big business at the loft, specifically with photo shoots. I've had a lot of photographers wanting to do maternity photos or engagement photos in the loft, and so I've been renting it out in between Airbnb guests for photo shoots.
The photo shoot stuff. It's beautiful. The lofts are amazing. A lot of people don't realize what's happening in that building, but there's all sorts of stuff happening, from workspace to George Garcia's been there for many years now with
Beautiful salon.
Yes, with his salon, the loft.
And then you have, Quail State coming in with the bar and La Boulangerie, La Boo on the bottom. And
it's amazing stuff. And there's a beautiful ballroom there. But where do they find your Airbnbs?
Yes. So on Instagram, if you go to at AirDTF for downtown Fresno, you'll be able to get in touch with me directly to book and see beautiful pictures of all the Airbnbs we have.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for being here on the program. And I'm sure you'll be back talking about more. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week at 9 a.m. right here at Talk Radio 1680 KGED with another edition of Business Leaders Live. Talk to you next week. Thank you, Facebook. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. Sorry about that.